Aries moon, what's the next one? Aries moon, Aquarius, duh. Okay, yeah, okay. So Aquarius sun, Aries moon. So there's a sextile here between Aries and Aquarius. So this would create opportunity, right? This would create a sort of sex, but just kind of like a sex that just works versus like, it's almost like a sex that is like not tense, right? And so the babies are just like opportunities in a way versus like the opposition sex is more like sex that is tense, so it's like hard to make work, but if it makes work, you have the both sides in the same picture. It's like the baby that's really smart and creative, right? Versus like you just have the creativity working together, like one side of creativity and the other side working together, right? So that's kind of the difference anyway, in my opinion. So yeah, we have opportunities here. We have like pleasant opportunities, which could be better or worse depending on where you come from and how you act, right? So this will be Aquarius. So this will be someone that already is like an individual, right? Because they don't need to look at anybody else for what makes sense. They just look at raw sense. They look at raw logic, right? This is a cross from Leo, which is like, doesn't really care necessarily about sense, but what is welcomed, what is accepted, right? What shines the brightest, right? And that has to deal with what is everybody's Venus, right? What is people's Lucifer energy, right? What do people think is Lucifer? In that Lucifer's the light bearer, right? Not Satan, but Lucifer. Like, what are people lost into? What is their Venus? What is their Taurus? What is their Libra? You know what I mean? What is their Pisces? What is their Leo? Because here's what I think. I actually do think Mercury exalts in Virgo and a little bit in Aquarius. And then also that would mean that Venus would have an exaltation in Leo as well, right? It kind of do fuck with that good, which I think makes sense also, and then it would also not necessarily fuck with Aquarius, which I also think makes sense, because Aquarius isn't necessarily about connecting and sacrificing for the objects of your desire, right? It's more about how you gain structure. It's almost, I feel like, a little more Plutonic in a way. So, or more death and rebirth, the more B-Day type. B-Day being bubbling beach, like in the beaches, if you build a sandcastle, right, you build the best fucking sandcastle, you learn a thing or two about building sandcastles, but you got to be content with the fact that you just gain knowledge on how to build sandcastles, not do that fucking sandcastle, because that sandcastle is gonna go, right? That sandcastle ain't gonna be there forever, right? So yeah. So now if we talk about, so this is someone that's acting in a way where they just know how they're going to act, right? They set their actions up based on sense, not based on feelings, right? And then they're coming from a place where they're always trying to initiate new ways of doing things. So this is someone that's like almost trying to initiate new ways that make sense of how to act, right? So this is someone that's like trying to develop new logics in a way. They're coming from a place where they're always trying to do different things, right? But then they're trying to stick with sense, right? So this may be like the weirdest acting individual almost, because it's like they figure out what actions work and then they just start playing with it, right? Like they figure out the logic of what makes sense of like, oh, we can act like in these sort of ways, right? And these make sense, these are structurally sound, but then they're coming from a place where they always want to switch it up, right? So it's like almost like Aquarius could switch it up anyway because of just the knowing sense, but this is someone that just wants to switch it up, right? So yeah, so it seems like a really unique, awesome like individual to be around. If they fuck with you, right? Because, well, they probably just fuck with a lot of things depending, right? On like what makes sense and like how they set themselves up and what they fuck with spiritually. But yeah, so that would be Aries moon, Aquarius sun.